Okay, so he has his hands. Matter of fact, we're gonna get at an angle. Right about there. Cool, cool. Because I'm gonna blow it up. Okay, so realize the 4 gates is 1. If I come over here and I'm hitting, he's gonna cover over here. Right? He's covering over here, either tonsile, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. We're just talking about gates. So this is 1. 2 is the other side over here. And this hand can at any point. And it doesn't necessarily that he has to cover from the Wu hand, but this outside hand can also cover that side. Does that make sense? That's 1, that's 2. 3, if I actually go for a lower point here, he's gonna cover. That's 3. The other part is 4. I come over here, that Wu hand can come over here. And it doesn't have to be this way. It also can be that this Lee head gum sows or something like that and covers my hand. That's 4. Remember what I said, Southern Chinese martial arts are hand friendly. So of course, if we had a choice between hands and kicking, well, kicking the legs at the base when you have a good strong stance probably won't do too much if you don't know what you're really doing, but the hands are so much faster than a kick. So much faster. And while people are sometimes focused downward, you know, boom, sometimes a good hit to the nose is all it is. I don't care if it's Wing Chun, boxing, Taekwondo, whatever. Sometimes a good hit to the jaw and nose is all you need in your life. You know, that's just point of contention or whatever. You know, so everybody has an idea of how to fight before they get jacked up in the mouth or nose. You know, so in this point, yeah, that's 4. I've always kind of, when I was a little kid, I was like 7 or so. No, actually, I was about 7. I was like 8 or 9. I was talking about 8. And the reason why I said 8 was just what I just showed. The outside hand covers 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you don't have this, now you got the inside hand protecting. 1, 2, well, 3 over here and 4 over there. You know what I mean. So there's a point where you have the back hand and you have the front hand. 1 hand, 4, back hand, 4. 4 times 2. So, but down here, you have your 2 legs. One of them is always in the back. Okay? One of them is always in the back. One of the reasons why you have something like seat ma, for example, is, well, don't do sheet ma. God. Seat ma is just a step forward. But one of the reasons why you have something like seat ma of the legs is actually the front and back hand of the South. Okay? This is based off me and my Wing Chun integrity. I'm not trying to copy my Hong Fai-Yi brother at all, because I don't know Hong Fai-Yi. I don't teach that way. I'm just telling you our Ip Man side, inside information. Okay? So you're always going to have lead leg kicking, you know. And you're always going to have reverse leg kicking. And because of the way we do it, we'll kick quick and get back in that stance. We realize that kicking has nothing to do with kicking. Let me explain that right quick. Just because you kick doesn't mean it's meant to just hurt. Everybody kicks these days because they want to knock someone's head off or break someone's ribs or mess someone's knee up or step on somebody's foot. Good. That's just attacking. What about everything else? Right? Kicking is not just meant for kicking. In the Wing Chun system, footwork and kicking is the same. Okay? Take, for example, in the wooden dummy, there is a point where you end up doing low bong sao, right? You step slide. You have either a woo structure, just in case they're at this point, but you can extend outward just a little bit towards shoulder line and do pak and fan sao out. And some people say it's man sao, depending on structure and how tall are you and whatever. Both can be right. And then all of a sudden you do a quan sao to backside kick towards them to kick. But realize the secret of what I just did. There's a secret. The secret is this. Watch my foot. Okay? You get that in Chun Q a lot of times when you do this, and all of a sudden you're like, and all y'all think y'all are doing is just doing bong and woo. That's the trickery of it. There's a kick there you don't see. And if you understand, once you go to Butte G and you start learning Hugh Ma more, either like that or you do it like the Mo Yacht way. The Mo Yacht way will introduce the secret because you have to step out. Who said you have to step out to the feet together, come out, just a slide there? Why can't you go backwards? Right? So then, if you have a stance, and what if we're in combat, right? And my foot is here. I switched the foot. So I came from this structure, reversed it. What just happened?
I lost my balance.
Lost his balance. Said it. You can close the hips back up, and you have Yiji Kunyama, Sunam Dao style. You come out, and now we have a Sunam Dao idea in the Butte G of just standing upright and straight. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shoes. So the whole point is, who said it couldn't be backwards? Who told you that? You know, that's when you open Wing Chun up, and now the mastery comes out, because now you're going to start the experiment like, ooh, look at the pretty colors. And you start reversing everything. It's like, wow, I didn't understand that. Because every time you do this, backwards is what? You know, sometimes you got to do this backwards and forwards to see the hidden picture of it all. Okay. Boy, I be dropping gems. Okay. So remember, he had his lead kick, right? And he has his back one. And remember, it's not about kicking, it's really about annoyance and getting their attention off, right? But this lead leg makes 5. And what it should do is not just kick, or not just change it to a stance, it should close too. And what I mean by close is, I'm going to show you with me, is that the Yiji Kunyama guards your groin first. Like, most people don't even expect that, but I have my way of standing. I have my space. I make a space because then you don't want your back muscles to get tense. I have bad back. So you have to modify the stance to a person's body type. And this stance right here also bypasses knee issues. Since then, I've never had a twinge ever in knees or in the lower back. So I have a space for a certain reason. If you try it, trust me, you'll come back and be like, oh my God, that's a better stance. The feet out. It's shoulder width. So if he get in front of me right quick, Because of this, he shouldn't bypass my groin kicking. I should be able to I know you're not trying to kick.
No.
Dang it. But you see the point. If he kicks, my legs should be able to close perfectly with the stance I have. So that's the same thing as him having his foot out. The SAU, S-A-U, the redirective idea, the first redirective idea with the stance is the Yiji Kuyama and how it folds in to cover groin kicks. Backwards, you could do the same thing, depending on the angle of the opponent. Crazy, ain't it? No matter what stance you have, somehow it should be able to cover or recover from groin kicking. Because in the Southern Chinese way, groin kicking was a mofo. Okay? Along with the hands. They want you to pay attention, because you'll pay attention more to a groin kick. So then you get this. I'm going to show this for the first time ever. First time ever, y'all. Ghost kicking. You remember the ghost kick?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm right here and I'm too open, all he has to do is do the ghost kick method. That's ghost kicking. Ghost kicking was the idea of there's a hand up here, so now the lower leg has no shadow because you're too busy watching this. And it comes to all aspects, not just view. It could be a punch, it could be whatever. But at any point, I could get to a point and go like this and come through, and all of a sudden, you know, he paying attention to that kick. And all I gotta do is touch him one time, and his mind is like, oh, done. Which goes back to one of my Hampton Hong Chun Fa moments. Hampton Hong Chun Fa rule. Even if they're looking at you or whatever, if you could get their mind off of what they were doing, whatever, you win. Penetrate the mind, forget about the body. If you can get the mind, you got the body. Matter of fact, there's some women out there that say that. You know, they say, if you got my mind, you got my body. That's also Kung Fu point. So, if for one example, if I was to take his arm here, what would you do in this case?
Try to get out.
See, he's gonna turn, right? So that's the way his mind thinks. So if I do this, what's the reaction? See? So watch this. If I could get him to react the way I want him to react, I win. So out of them two, in my mind, I'm considering the idea that he may shift back or whatever the case may be. If I do this, too late. Get it? That's what we got Tyease out for. Because you're understanding how people react to certain things. Because this reaction ain't going to be this reaction. And whatever he does with this part. Right? And that reaction may not be the reaction if I do this and then I punch. And that part may not be the reaction if I do this punch. And everything has a reaction. So you have to Tyease out. There's no other choice. It's a great way and a safe way sometimes to actually understand what could happen. It's a chess match. And luckily we got all kinds of chess pieces, floors right here. Anyway, so the end of this video is this. We have, and I'm not going to try to overly exaggerate it and say 8 gates, okay? You got to understand, because once this hand is down, you still only have 4. You know, truthfully, it's just an inside gate, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe you can even break the hold while doing gum style. You can touch style the idea. But either way it goes, right? You have those 4, 5, 6. Either you're doing it like this, or you have a kick out here and a kick out here. And you have to realize that point, okay? It's been 6 gates all along. And Hitman structure, they tell you that usually later. You know, keep asking a Wing Chun man that question. They'll eventually tell you about the 6 gates.